Deep in the rainforest, behind Mount Cameroon, is Kotho One village, a community of over 529 households living together for centuries now. The population of the village are mostly farmers engaged in the cultivation of crops like cocoa, cocoyams, plantains, among others. While many elderly villagers take to the farm every morning, Mervyn Dam and Akere Glory are in front of their house, merchandising some of their farm products. A new page was announced to the people of Kotho One, who for centuries have lived in darkness, when our company SunErgy Cameroon brought the news of the electrification of the village using solar energy. The drive was motivated by the need to improve on the living conditions of the people who increasingly consider themselves abandoned and forgotten by the government or political elites.
Some 5 years ago, I made a trip in this region, and along this road there are some 11 villages. We passed by these villages and we talked to the people, and that's how we discovered it. But actually, it was one man from Cameroon, Dr. Kinney. I met him in Finland, and I told him about my ideas to give solar power, cable television and internet to people in order to enable them to escape poverty. So he invited me to Cameroon, and I went, and he took us to this region. You cannot travel through this area without being touched. And you know, even now, when I go here, sometimes I want to cry. Because when I see how hard people are struggling and how tough life is. I mean, if you are not being touched driving through this area, you are not human. Every child in this village could be my child, it could be my grandson. Every girl could be my daughter. Every woman could be my wife and my mother and my father. And I think we need to get this human face on business. Yes, business must be viable and sustainable. You must make money, but there must be this human face. So I like to think about ourselves that we are taking business one step further. That's how I like to see it. The idea of SunErgy is to enable people to escape poverty. And in order for them to escape poverty, they need the tools like electricity, cable television, internet. So you need to make technology available, but you also need to make it affordable. So there must also be some financing available to them.
After agreeing terms with the villagers for the solar energy to be brought to Kotho One village, the traditional ruler and his council, as well as the entire village, heaved a sigh of relief and readily provided a piece of land for the construction of the powerhouse of the project, as well as guaranteeing collaboration for the realization of the project. In return, SunErgy Cameroon, as required by the Traditional Council, made available some items for the performance of a traditional libation as royalties to call on the ancestors to bless and protect the project. They included a goat, 2 bags of rice and salt, crates of beer, and 5 liters of wine were made available for that purpose. His Royal Majesty Leoki Emmanuel and his village are fully engaged and determined to back the scheme that will turn a new page in the history of Kotho One.
5 years behind, when my forefathers were alive, they were suffering. We had no road, we have no good drinking water, no light. So this time around, let me say we are surprising to see light called solar. This is our first time experiencing solar. 4 years today, when Professor came with a delegation in my village, where you are today, Kotho 1, talking about solar, I was not convinced. I was somehow, it sounds funny. I said, but what is solar? After a lot of explanation, solar can help you to do this, solar can help you to give you this. I said, no. I said, Prof, I cannot believe that. Because since, even in Douala, I've never seen solar, so I don't know what you are talking about solar. So after a long debate, Prof told me, you will believe when I'll do something in Bokoso. So we had a meeting in Bokoso. When I went there, before I discovered what Prof was saying is true. I told him, Prof, if you sure you are true that this project is a nice project, and then we can go into agreement. I'll give you a piece of land to plant the solar plants, sun energy there. But for now, I don't know. Prof told me, when I come, you will believe that I'm Prof. So I gathered my villagers and we squared a piece of land, about 50 by 60 meters square, where it's working now for free, because we want to see the solar and to see how improve the village will improve tomorrow.
Upon sealing the agreement, work has been ongoing in the village with the numbering of houses, the planting of poles, and the extension of cables throughout the village. A choice piece of land given by the villagers for the purpose of this project, located almost in the middle of the village, will host the powerhouse of the project. Construction works are also ongoing at this level.
When we came here initially, this place, they used to call it the evil forest. It was a lot of trees and nobody wanted to use this part. So they gave us this piece of land. It's about 50 by 60. And I had to bring a caterpillar all the way from Douala. I came here and I had to level this piece of land that you see. So what we intend to do is that this piece of land, for now, we intend to put about 350 PV panels. And these panels, we would all, we would all link up everything back into the house that I just constructed there. We would connect all of them because that's the main powerhouse. We shall have a small office outside the gate there, and there I will now have to put a container. But this is where I actually intend to be. You see, we have what we call a 10-key solution system. That is, everything comes pre-made inside the container. But what we've realized is that because of our temperature, this area, it gets too hot, and using the container, sometimes it increases the heat that is also being generated inside the powerhouse. So I've decided now to use a block building with enough space, and everything would be really cool. The temperature is supposed to be around 27, 28 degrees.
Everything has been worked out by SunErgy to ease the registration process by villagers, as we are told by Kesa Moriana.
Everybody is supposed to register. You write your name to become a member of 2 Mites. This is our program, we call it 2 Mites. We work only with registered clients. And then the program is in 2 phases, the solar and the microfinance. So we made it in such a way that the people who cannot pay for their wiring immediately, we are there to give them loans and then pay for their electrification. So when you come and meet us here, the first thing we ask you, you are coming for what? You want to that they would come and electrify your house. How many rooms do you have? You tell us, for example, you have about 9 rooms. I will calculate how much the 9 rooms will cost. We'll prepare the paper and give to the client. The electricians now will go and do the electrification.
After meeting the required conditions by SunErgy, the family of Mohana Lucas Liwole are witnessing the cabling and wiring of their house by the technical team of SunErgy Cameroon, an activity also taking place in other households that have indicated interest.
Mr. Lucas has a 5-bedroom and with one tenant in his house. So what we have done is we have provided a connection for the 5 bedrooms, then separating the tenant so that the tenant can use his own meter independently. So we have provided the tenant with a supply cable which will supply energy from the main grid, and then the breakers which will protect the household for any short circuit. And then we provide junction boxes where we do our connection to link the switches, the bulbs, and we do the sockets for the user to be able to use the appliances.
Hancho Solange, a Form 5 student of GBH's Bengue, lives in Kotho village with her family. It has not been easy to put up in darkness since her family came to the village 9 years ago, especially for she and her siblings who are all students. They have to convince their father to get registered with SunErgy so as to get their house electrified when they discovered that he was not eager in the process.
Since we heard that there's a solar program coming here, we've been waiting for this for so long. So I came here and I saw that the program is really working, so I was very happy about it. My dad was like insisting not to register. We told him to register in. So he did and register. He was among the first people that registered in this solar program. There was no light here. We find it so difficult to read our books because the solar will only remain in the parlor and our phone will always get low. So this solar will be very advantageous for all of us students in this place.
This cocoa farmer, Buea Godwin, looks the coming electrification scheme with lots of expectation.
We feel as if government has forgotten us, as if people are not behind this mountain. We love watching television, and here we don't have the means to watch television. Not that we cannot buy television, but because of light, we cannot watch television, which is very important. We are supposed to be watching news, so without light we cannot watch television. We have been spending so much on buying petrol and buying kerosene. In fact, we have been spending so much without light.
Young Emilia is in the kitchen preparing food for the family. She was born and have lived her life in Kotho. Emilia is impatient to witness a new era in the history of Kotho village.
This is my place, this is my land, and this is my village. My uncle is a chief in Kotho, so I'm staying here. I go here and I'm married here. When I heard that the light is coming on Kotho 1, I'm very glad because even my mother did not see the light, but I know that even the road will also come. As the light have come, we will also have the roads.
Do you feel bad for your children?
Yes, because they move from one place to another that I did not like. But when light is in the house, film will be in the house, they will not go to nowhere.
Mekam Pascal went out of business in Kotho 1 because he could not sustain the daily purchase of fuel to electrify his business structure. He hopes to bounce back when SunErgy finally lights up the village in the coming weeks.
Apart from being a farmer, I'm also a small businessman. I used to operate in a snack bar, but due to no lights, I had to stop it. Because, you know, if you want to put on, let's say, a generator every day, after the day, you will think of how you did the business and you will see that you've spent a lot of money for the fuel. At the end of the day, you will make no profit. So I thought it was that I can only start it all over again when there will be light. The light is just a few days from now. We are very, very much excited, and everybody is planning, not only me, to start off with something, because you know when there is light, there is development.
With the coming of electricity to Kotho 1, the traditional ruler of the village is calling on all the subjects who left to seek other opportunities in electrified towns to return home.
I'm very happy. I'm advising my people that they should not bother what is going on. It's for the interest of our children tomorrow. If I can be in the village like Kotho, I have cable network, I have light in my house. I mean, I'm also in Yaoundé too. Because when we have our cable network, I mean, we do the same like what Douala people are doing. We sit in our house and talk to Europe, do our business, do everything.
Why the people of Kotho 1 wait in expectation to finally see a new dawn in their community that hosts more than 3,500 people, Professor Steen believes that if this project could see the light in an enclosed rainforested Kotho 1, it is possible anywhere else in the world.
This has been an uphill battle all the time. And I think in order to do this, and in order to provide people with what we are trying to do, we must be willing to take that struggle it is to make it come true. No, it's not easy. It has not been easy. But as the Americans say, it's not easy, but it's doable. So it's doable, yes. But don't for 1 minute think it's easy.